Why Imperial? Even though Indonesia went metric in 1923, I think that was more than less to unify the various systems of measurement that were in use throughout all of the islands around here. And while that might be fine for that purpose, this boat specifically is not being built to any specific unit of measure. It's being built by eye and feel. And having the only measuring tape here, and having laid it on fairly every part of this boat by now, I can just see where things have been arranged according to clean, honest, pure, simple fractions. One thing might be half of something else, or 3/4, or 5/8, and while it might be fine for a computer to manipulate decimals and move a decimal point around, it's not consistent with what I'm looking at here. And it seems to make most sense to use the most classical units of naval architecture and keep it all in English, but that's not really, that bore explaining at some point, but isn't really what we're about right now. Just to take some of the mystery out of what I'm doing, I'm trying to determine the geometry of 5 stations along the length of the hull. And because everything is almost perfectly fair, as can just be, you can see from some of the footage outside, what that means is every curve you see having a continuous second derivative, if it is truly fair, then with those 5 points and a fair curve, I should be able to interpolate to maddening precision all of the points in between and come at the rest of the 47 stations and frames. So here we have frame 18, where it comes out above the main deck. And I've already penciled in the point of interest here. So it's fairly simple I don't need a tool to be able to measure or see that we're looking straight up and down. And that is 18¼ inches above the main deck. And 1 3/16 inches in. So now I have 2 points. And if I take into account the thickness of the main deck and hopping below, you can see here, this is frame 18. I penciled in, well, here's what we're doing. So these are the 2 points we just measured, right? And we already know this. I've already verified these transverse dimensions and vertical dimensions. So basically what I'm missing is the bilge radius. And to come at that, I've come up with a 4th point, which you can see in pencil here. And I've measured that to be 2 foot 10 inches below the molded main deck and 1 foot 9¼ inches inboard from the molded main deck at side. And that's the crosshairs you see in magenta right there. So now I can let the computer do the work for me by fitting a spline through each of the 4 points that I know. I can see that that is almost spot on a perfect representation of the bilge that I'm looking at. And of course, pending verification of everything, which we'll do in a second. But so with 5 stations like that, perfectly defined, exactly defined, and then knowing their height, which we'll get to, into after No Screen Sunday, I'll be able to fit a curve along the length of the hull and come at every point in between.